Oh, shit.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Hey, welcome back to the Bottle Rocket Gaming Podcast. It's me, Kirrok. Glad to have you all here. And what is this? If you look over to my right here,
This is not warped. Not tonight,
wait,
man.
I thought Warped was.
No, I'm his better looking, not doppelganger.
not doppelganger.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hi, welcome, Lady M. Welcome to the stream.
I'm his stunt double. That's what we'll say.
There you go. So actually, guys, if you don't know, this is NachoPandaa. NachoPandaa has actually been on the Bottle Rocket Gaming podcast a few times in the past when myself and Warped were doing the podcast back in the day. And
ago, man.
yeah, and you were on as a guest. You were on as a guest host tonight. Warped couldn't make it. Oh, Lady M says hello, Nacho.
Hi.
So
you got the warm welcome. I love it.
I reached out to a few peeps, and Nacho was kind enough to say, "Yeah, man, I will join you tonight. Let's do this thing." So we have a great show tonight, guys. Okay, so before we actually get into anything, Nacho, I've been following Nacho since I met him through this podcast, and
it's been a long time, dude.
It's been like
long time,
good 5 years easily.
at least.
Yeah, at least, yeah,
over 5 years now. We've been around the bend
the streaming block.
Yeah, we've been around the block a few times.
Yeah. So you stream on Twitch.
That's right. Yes.
Later on in the show, near the end, we'll talk about your actual channels and where people can find you. But sure. I haven't seen you on the last little bit. What's been going on? Tell me what was been on.
Yeah, man, it's been a quick minute since I've done anything live on Twitch. You know, I took the month of April to kind of like, nice. I think you know, and this is, you know, for people watching and people that may find this channel, I think burnout kind of hit me square in the nose, and I kind of just got really kind of like bogged down. Not like it was just I needed you
needed time away.
I needed to recollect my mental sanity, so I took some time off, and I've just been enjoying not stressing over streams,
dude. You know? I've done it too. I did it in fall. I was away for like 3 months, man, and then as the new year came in, I was like, all right, let's get back into it. And it's exactly good. And you come back rejuvenated.
It's definitely necessary. Yeah, no, 100%. I definitely took that time to. It was not so much just like stepping away from like Twitch and gaming and all that. I actually did a good amount of gaming for fun. Like as weird as hard as it is to kind of like comprehend as a streamer, like we do a lot of things for our channel and kind of try to develop that you know, our streams through gaming. But I mean, realistically, how often I started thinking about it, like how often did I actually game for the sake of enjoying the game? And when I started asking myself that question, realizing, oh God, I don't do it that often, that's when like the burnout mentality or the burnout thing kind of set in. So, you know, I took some time off and spent some time with my family. I went on vacation, you know, and I just kind of put this on not the back burner, but more or less I put it back in the pot. You know, I let it simmer on the back burner. And with that, I feel like, you know, I'm planning on coming back very soon. I think I'm shooting for next week. Nice. And I'm working on some cool things. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think more or less, I just need to recharge the batteries. Yeah,
you take a step back to put it in perspective, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly.
It got to a point where, you know, you just put so much time and effort into it, and you know, it becomes almost like it takes over. It takes over your life a little bit.
Yeah.
And so when it got to that point, I was like, okay, am I getting like fulfilled with what I'm putting out to what I'm putting in? And when it's no, then
Yeah.
it's time to take a step back and reevaluate what exactly I'm trying to do or what I want to do with this time, this short
Gotcha.
amount of time that we have on this
Yeah.
spinning
Rock.
thing,
Yeah,
spinning
yeah.
rock. Exactly. So
Uh,
yeah, it's been a nice break, but you know, I think I'm eager to get back and
Sweet.
do some fun things
I'm
and
so happy
change
that
it up a little bit.
I'm so happy that you said, "Hey, I'm cool. I'm in. Let's do this, buddy." And
Yeah, this was
I was like,
I
"Yes,
miss
Nacho."
I miss talking to people. That was the big thing for me. Like, I loved the conversations that I mean, you and I had on stream, and just
Yeah,
the viewers and the community that came in is like that was what I think I really, when I broke it down to its simplest form, that's what I love the most about streaming is building the community and having these conversations about everything and anything, and especially the stuff we're passionate about. So to be able to kind
great.
of
That's
take
awesome.
a little sample of that through this this episode
Yeah.
and kind of like get the ball rolling again, kind of warm up my engine a little bit. It's nice.
So
I like it.
great. So here, listen to this.
Oh boy.
Are you ready to get back in and let's start talking about stuff?
You know what?
You
I've
ready?
never been one to dip
Because
my toe in.
it is Friday
Let's
the
go head first,
13th.
man.
It is Friday the 13th. So
Knock on wood, man. It's been a
episode
good
number
day so far.
133. I know, I know. Wait, no,
Oh my
that's
gosh, wait,
that's
133. So
yeah,
13.
13,
Take out that
13,
last. Oh
three.
my
Take off the
god.
last three. I'm knocking
Oh.
on the IKEA wood, which isn't real wood.
I was gonna say that's like 10% wood, 90% plastic
All right,
particle.
all right. We're about to get into the news. Here we go,
Let's
guys.
do it. Yeah. This is
Oh gosh. All right. So this one is an oldie but a goodie, and it's near and dear to my heart. Wonderfully lucky number 13. And I'm sorry, I'm reading what Lady M has
that
written in chat.
I saw
And
that.
I have
Yeah.
a black
That's a
cat
better way to
by
look
me.
at it.
She has a black cat next to her. Oh goodness.
All right, keep an eye on that black cat and watch out for every mirror and window. It's just like there's a storm a brewing with that
So,
one.
so the long rumored reboot of Quantum Leap might actually be a thing. It may actually be leaping back onto the small screen, guys. There have been rumors about this for eons. Like I remember years ago them saying, "Oh, they're going to bring it back. They're going to bring it back." For those of you who don't remember the end of the original series, in this case, probably you, Nacho. I don't know
Definitely
if
me.
you. Okay,
I
all right.
remember the show,
You
but
remember the
don't
show?
remember
But
anything.
okay, I gotcha. So
Yeah.
near the very end, Dr. Sam Beckett, played by the actor Scott Bakula, was left forever leaping. So what ended up happening was after the 5 seasons or 5 years of the show going on, everyone expected him to make his way back home. The whole concept of the show is Dr. Sam Beckett, a theoretical physicist, invents a machine that allows him to time travel within his lifetime. But something goes wrong, and he's leaping from person to person in everyday life and fixing what goes wrong in their lives. So nothing super famous, like not really many famous people's lives, but just everyday Joes, right? And so the very last episode, after the 5 years, he leaps into a bar that there's a guy there that has a lot more answers and raises a lot more questions about what the nature of this is. Because even though it took his science to make it happen, it's funny because it was like he was stuck making something right, and he kept thinking throughout the whole show that it was actually some power from above that's kind of getting him to do this. And the last episode kind of went to that, but then it ends off with text on the screen saying that the show will never, he never makes it home. And the creator of the show, Donald Belisario, left it open that way so that if one day the show came back, they could pick up where they left off. And so now they're looking at doing or getting into the show, and apparently it's supposed to start sometime this coming fall, where Al was his compadre, the guy who was kind of his lifeline, a holographic guy that showed up in his original time that was giving him support. Al is going to go back and try to mount a rescue effort for him. I'm all in for this.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really, really good concept. Really, really excellent show. Was a really excellent show. I watched the whole thing. It was great. Loved it. Back in the day too.
So I remember the concept of this show, and I mean, I was a kid at this point, so my idea of a good show was like Power Rangers and Street Sharks.
It's all
So
right.
I do remember this show, and
Yeah.
now that I'm looking back, like, I mean, if if if
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest, I
yeah.
can see a show like this doing extremely well.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the science fiction, you got time travel, you got multiversal
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
powers at hand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
100%.
sorry, but Multiverse of Madness just came out. The idea of even cinematic universes is a very hot topic. So I think that idea of, you know, the character still in this like
It's still,
quantum leap
yeah.
situation is very, very of the time right now.
It's
So I'm very curious to see if this actually. I mean, it
if
seems
it,
like it's
yeah, I just hope they do a good job, and obviously they're going to
right.
be picking all new cast members because I mean, the
It's
actor
been
who, yeah, the actor who played Dean Scottwell, he played Al. He's passed in
he
real life.
passed.
Yeah, he
Oh
passed.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, dude, I
I
can't
mean,
wait. This is going to be awesome.
I welcome a new science fiction show because I feel like, we're in a weird limbo with like, like I don't think science fiction TV is getting enough. Like, we're getting we're getting shows, but are they quality is the
Yeah,
question.
100%.
Like, we're seeing, and the beautiful thing that we're seeing right now is streaming services are picking up, all these different titles and these franchises and doing their own thing with it. I mean, I could easily see something like on a streaming service like Peacock or, YouTube or
Prime or
Hulu or
something. Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Prime. I mean, to be honest, if Prime picked it up, I would
Ooh,
be very excited
yeah.
because
Same here.
I think time after time they've proven that they can make incredible shows. I mean, have you seen The Boys? Have you
Yeah,
seen Invincible?
I'm
I
watching.
mean,
What's that one that's out? Oh, I can't remember. It's like a cattle guy, and it's like some kind of weird X-File stuff happening on his ranch.
huh. I mean,
Uh
is it on
it'll
Prime?
pop. Yeah, it's on Prime. Yeah, it's
Okay,
first
I'll have
season
to
only
go
so
back.
far.
I
Yeah,
just watched what's that show? Reacher on
Reacher.
Prime
Okay,
Video.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was such a good show, very action packed. And I
Late.
mean,
So I was gonna
yep,
say, Lady M wrote, "Sounds awesome. I remember the original, so she remembers the
yeah.
original
See,
Quantum Leap."
I think it's always like in the sci-fi genre. It's definitely one of those like synonymous names. Like, whether you were a fan of the show or you knew about the show, you knew exactly like Quantum Leap. Oh yeah, yeah, that's the one where the guy jumped in
Yeah,
different universes and all this crazy stuff happened. You know of the idea, and so and also with the technology we have now and CGI and filming capabilities, and we're seeing screenwriters and directors like
mm,
going from big screen to small and vice versa. That just opens it up. It's just a matter of, I don't know if it said if there's a studio that's picked it up or it's kind
I
of like
don't know
in
to
the
be
development.
honest. I think it's NBC's Quantum
Oh
Leap, so
hey,
it's
I
actually
mean,
actual. Yeah,
NBC's they do some incredible stuff, and they've I mean, they're willing to put a lot of time and
yeah,
effort into
yeah. It
a
is
great
NBC.
concept.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of like who's going to take over that idea and just run with it. I welcome the idea because I miss a good sci-fi show.
Mm-hmm.
Give us our next Firefly, man.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Well, let's move on to the next story, which I personally love to see. This is an article from GameStop. GameStop, wow. Saying that finding a PS5 might get just that much easier this year. Console wars are still in full effect. It looks like Sony has said in its earning meetings, which I think was just recently, that they project to sell 18 million PS5s over the next fiscal year. Yeah, which started April 1st. So we're in the beginning of the new fiscal year.
Yep.
18 million units. They indicated that this projection is based on companies' current visibility into parts procurement. So, you know, that's a great sign to see that the chipset shortage is
Yeah.
kind of getting pushed away. We're starting to see things kind of get back to normal.
Hey,
And
welcome, Zez.
what's up, Says? How's it going, man? And just as a comparison, back in March 2021, they had sold 7.8 million units, the PS5, and they are now at 11.5 million by March of 2022. So just in that year alone, they sold, what is that, like almost 4 million
More. Yeah.
additional.
Yeah.
4 million more.
Yeah.
And they're planning on doubling that from now until the next fiscal year. that's I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, that level of procurement and manufacturing, putting that all together and then getting those units out there, that's a great thing to see. Because if I'm gonna be honest, if we're looking at both Microsoft's Xbox Series X, because those are both the comparable systems to the PS5, I feel like Xbox Series X has had a little bit more of a accessibility in general stores, Targets, Walmarts, all that stuff. So to see PlayStation kind of get their unit number and their manufacturing back up to enough to make sure that they can actually compete, I think it'll help them obviously, but it'll also get these units into people's hands. So hopefully we'll kind of battle the scalpers. But
Oh my gosh.
because that was the thing in the beginning is I was fortunate enough to be able to secure one at launch.
You didn't go through a scalper, right?
No.
Neither
Thank
did I.
goodness. I wouldn't. I was very dead set on not supporting anything that was marked up like that because
it was ridiculous.
for one, I'm not made out of money. I'm not spending $2,000 on a $500 or $600. Was it $600 for the disc?
For the disc
PS5?
version? Well, I don't know. Here it was like when I got mine, it was like Canadian. Yeah, it was like seven, almost $800.
So yeah, it was probably 600 then, because that seems.
Well, it was almost $800 with a
500,
with a bundle, right? So I was forced to so when I bought my PS5, I had to get a bundle. They wouldn't let me buy the PS5 unless I bought I think it was like a controller and a membership to Xbox Live or something like that. Or not Xbox Live or something.
For the PlayStation Network or PSN or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I just got the straight up console and then I bought all the accessories later on because, why not? But I mean, seeing the comparison and looking at what they're projecting, it's pretty optimistic if you ask me, because this is a rather optimistic one since other tech companies in the expect the current chip shortage well into 2024. So it's kind of curious to if this is just them kind of being overly optimistic and maybe kind of fluffing their numbers for the shareholders to feel better, or if this is actually the case. I mean, obviously, at this point in its life, it's still very new. They just had their first birthday back in September, so it's like, or was it late last year?
Yeah, late last year, November.
They had their first birthday, so we're still in the very early stages of its lifespan.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you for a sec. Sumac just jumped in and she said, "Hi, everybody. Just stopping into my pre-weekend meeting." And then Lady M said to her, "Happy birthday." So
we got a happy birthday.
Yeah, we got a happy birthday in the chat.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sumac.
Thank you for blessing us on your day of birth.
That's awesome.
And hang out. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. So
with the story, Nintendo is saying that in its earning meeting that they see no end in sight for the current chip shortage, which is, I honestly would take their insight a little bit more. I will say Nintendo has done one thing and they do it very well. They are honest. I mean, I don't know if honest is the right word, but they don't try to BS us. Like, they're not trying to sell us on anything. They're authentically themselves. They've always been. They don't try to compete. They don't try to do things, in the console war idea.
Yeah,
so
that's
to
true.
Hear them talk about it and hearing from multiple sources that like the chip shortage isn't going anywhere does raise some questions and maybe a red flag or two with what PlayStation is saying. I mean, personally, I got my system. I don't really I don't have a dog in this fight. If it is true and they start selling, 2x units this year, I'm all for it. That means more people to play on the systems and more, more people to buy games and more money for developers and, more first party titles that are going to get more time to work on. It kind of feeds itself if it's right. If it's not, I mean, nothing is really going to change, right?
Yeah.
We're still going to just see the scarcity that it is.
That it has been
since launch.
Yeah, exactly.
Since launch. No. Oh, I see a little note here. Hey, Kirok, I got
Yeah.
a quick question for you, bud.
Yeah.
How many PS5s do you have, dude?
What? Me?
Why is this a
What?
question? Now I gotta know,
So
man.
we were talking about this, getting it easier and so on. The reason is I actually managed to get my hands on a second PS5 last Saturday.
Oh snap!
Dude,
Okay.
I'm in good with the guys at GameStop near where I work,
Beautiful.
and they were like, they called me up out of the blue. Yeah, we got one. I know you're looking,
Hey,
and I was
it's
like,
not about. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was like, yeah, all right, I'm coming. I'm coming right now,
Yo, it's not
and I
about
got
what
it.
you know. It's about who you know, man.
Yeah, and of course it's a bundle. So my bundle was I had to buy two $80 games with it.
Okay.
So
What games did you pick up then?
so I picked up Demon's Souls as well as
Okay.
Dying Light 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I haven't played Dying Light 2, but
I
that
haven't
one
either. I haven't
definitely
either.
has my. I love the whole zombie survival, and I just actually over my break I started up Dying Light, and man, don't play that game at night. It is intense. It's not just like a. It's not like Left 4 Dead where you're just like unlimited ammo mowing down zombies. They're actually pretty brutal, and I
Yeah,
can only
okay.
imagine the second game has gotten just as intense. But it's a great franchise, and Demon's Souls. I know it's a remake, but I've
Yeah,
seen
the
the
remake is
quality of it.
absolutely
Oh my
beautiful,
god, it's
incredible.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Not my type of game, but I
yeah.
love watching it.
Actually, speaking of Demon Souls, Elden Ring has sold over 13 million copies in its first month alone. This
Jeez.
comes from PC Gamer. Elden Ring has sold over 13 million copies and is one of From Software. They're the developer that makes the game. One of their most successful games. To compare, their previous games, Dark Souls 3 was the former bestseller, and it took 4 years for that game to sell 10 million copies.
That's unreal.
Yeah, so in 1 month they matched that and went and superseded.
And then went
Yeah,
beyond.
yeah,
Jeez.
it's crazy. The entire Soul series is sitting at a lifetime of 27 million copies. So that's basically the Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. I don't know if they mean also the
Demons,
Bloodborne and Demon Souls. I'm
Demon
not sure if they
Souls.
mean that, but that is sitting
Wow.
at a lifetime of 27 million copies. And Elden Ring in 1 month has reached about half of that.
That's unreal.
It's
I
insane,
mean,
right? And if any of you know anybody watching or have maybe watched some other people on online chat or stream, the game is brutally hard, unforgiving, the kind of game that you want to technically rage quit, throw your
oh,
controller away, throw it at the screen,
it's
kind
meant
of thing.
to.
It's
It's meant
meant it's
to be
meant
rage
to, yeah,
inducing.
because you it's not easy. It's very difficult. You get to a certain point and then you die and you got to redo the whole thing all over again. And in fact, I was playing Demon Souls on the PS5 because I just got it, and I got to a certain point. I wouldn't get far into it, but I got killed, and then I was like, I got to do that again. That
It's very
was my reaction.
unforgiving, but I will say I've only played Dark Souls 3 and I played it for a day. N- the whole Soulsborne games aren't really my cup of tea. I do absolutely love watching um streamers that speed run it or that do
Oh
like
yeah,
was it a Happy Hob? He's the guy. He's one of the guys that does like challenges. Like he'll do a no hit run of. I think he just tried to do a no hit run, or he
of
recently
Elden
did
Ring. Was it Elden
of
Ring?
Elden Ring,
Yeah. Okay.
and I think he died at the last boss on the last hit. It's
Oh.
just seeing the fan base and how like obsessively excited they got for this Elden Ring. It just shows a testament to their fan base over this long period of time that the Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all the Souls games have been around. And I mean, proof is in the pudding, man.
Oh yeah.
13 million copies in a
In
month,
a month. In a
half of its
month.
lifespan in units sold.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
insane.
I think this is a slam dunk for Game of the Year this year, if you ask me. I mean, I'm
It probably will get Game of the Year.
I
Was
think
it?
it's very optimistic.
So here's the other part of it. Like I have Elden Ring. I did buy it. I played it
Mhm.
for about 6 hours and only got to the point where I faced off with the first boss. And it's
Oh,
not that far into the game, really. But I played it for six
right,
hours just because I was having some fun exploring, going around, and that's I think one of the things that hooked me. I love the lore and the
right.
exploration and the discovery. I hope it doesn't
No, it
says
doesn't.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, Zez, I'm with you, man. Let's get. I mean, it's a long ways away before they start voting on Game of the Year because that doesn't happen until I think November.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
will
gonna
it have
there's
the weight to stand this test of time?
it's
Because
gotta
that's like
yeah.
8 months.
Since it hit hard at the beginning of the year, it's gotta stay there. You know what I mean? It's got a lot more
No,
work to
totally.
do. Yeah, hundred
Well, if
percent.
you think about it, what was it? The Last of Us 2 that came out around this time, not last year, maybe
It
the year
was
before.
June. It was June. Yeah,
Was
yeah,
June.
yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah. A
almost
month
six
away.
months
It's a month
away.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No.
it's like
Oh,
because
I see
well,
what you're saying. You're saying it's
from
like six
voting
months
for Game of
from.
the
Yeah.
Year
Okay.
and all
Gotcha.
those votes, and it won a few awards. So I mean, I think the conversation of is this Game of the Year worthy? I think is a very valid question for a game as master class crafted as this. I think it does have the weight to carry. Now, will we see something surprise us down the line for this year? We'll have to wait and
We'll
see. I
see.
mean,
Yeah. Exactly. Like something
and
that hit something that sideswipes us. The Last of Us 3.
oh my god, can you imagine? I mean, there has been conversations of the Last of Us remake coming
Oh.
out this year,
Oh yeah.
and I
Okay.
mean, we are a couple weeks out from Summer Game Fest, which is kind of taking over as the new E3, being that we don't have E3 this year.
Mm.
You know, tears in chat. Um, but with the conversation of AAA titles, games coming out this year, it brings us to our next story, which I regrettably have to inform everyone this year. Unfortunately, Bethesda has announced that it is delaying Starfield and Redfall to
I had
2023.
no idea. I totally missed this
It
article online.
the news came out yesterday. Polygon had covered it. Actually, Bethesda had posted a tweet about it. You know, a very straightforward, simple explanation that with this new time, they'll be able to put more time and effort into it, especially Starfield, which I think is going to be Microsoft's it's going to be their big AAA namesake title that I think they were hoping to get with Halo Infinite, which Halo Infinite kind of had a weird rocky release,
Hmm.
but I think with Microsoft acquiring Bethesda, which I think it's still pending. I don't think it's officially it for an acquisition of this large, it's going to take some time. I
Oh
think it
yeah.
takes about a year for it officially to be finalized, and that's even if it goes through. Um let's see. We got some things in
So
chat.
yeah, Zez just said the story that should surprise absolutely no one, and then he says, then
That
he follows it up with Kirok thought I was joking when I said 2033.
I mean, look what happened to what was that? God, the game that came out in Cyberpunk. I
Cyberpunk,
mean,
yeah.
that was a game in development for 8 years. I want to say it was
Mhm.
announced. I think it was announced in 2013 at
Yeah,
E3,
I think you're
and
right.
then it
Actually,
was in development for all this time, and then it came out and was just it fell on its face. It was
yeah,
unfortunate to see, but I think it was a learning lesson for not only CD Projekt Red but every major developer that rushing a product out to make a timeline is a surefire way to disappoint your fan base
oh yeah,
enough to a point where they just stop supporting you, and it puts more workload on your staff with crunch and then having to go back and fix those issues that if you had just taken a little bit more time to correct could have been
yeah.
you know
Cyberpunk, they're still
could have
doing
been enough.
that technically, aren't they?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, they just came out with the PS5 update
yeah,
earlier this year, and I still haven't gotten back to it. I'm still I'm a little sensitive about it.
yeah, yeah.
I bought the collector's edition. I was ready to go. I was super excited. I didn't buy the one with the figure, but I bought the one with the steel book and all the exciting stuff, and I was super pumped. I played it for an hour, and I was like, "This is not what I paid for." So I
Uh,
put it on the shelf, and it is collecting dust. But I will eventually get
we
back
get
to it.
back to it.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So,
I
so
mean,
you're
yeah.
mentioning in this article Starfield and Redfall. What's Redfall? I'm not familiar with
So
that.
Redfall was announced last year. I think it was announced at E3, or it might have been one of those other showcase shows. Maybe I think it was E3 because Bethesda showcase. I think Bethesda still does it. Anyways, it was there was a teaser trailer. It is a co-op action shooter, kind of in the
Vampires?
I think it has vampires. It's very supernatural.
Yeah, okay, I know the
It's
one.
very like it looks very like not comedic, but it looks very lighthearted in the same vein as like I would say Saints Row, where it's like it's like the funnier version of Grand Theft Auto. I think Redfall is going to be something like that
Hmm.
for Saints Row, but with more of a sci-fi aspect or a supernatural, I'll say. But it's still we don't know a whole lot, but we are expecting Summer Game Fest very shortly. So with this extra time, maybe we'll get a little bit of information about what the game is, what the story is. We saw some of the characters, but we really just got a cinematic of the game, and we didn't get a whole lot of the actual gameplay itself. But with this delay, though, it unfortunately is it it doesn't shine a great light on 2022's release calendar because we've had a few other major AAA titles
Yeah.
like EA Sports PGA Tour, Breath of the Wild
Yeah,
2, and
Breath of the
Suicide
Wild 2,
Squad.
big one.
Yeah, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Those were just a few of the titles that have been also put on. They have been delayed till 2023. And one I didn't put in here that I did check a little bit later was Saints Row. That was supposed to actually come out, I want to say this month or last month, and that got pushed back to August of this year. So we're getting
I was
looks
reading
like a
chat.
Saints Row
I'll let
Fortnite
you
back.
read it. I'll let you read Zez's. Go ahead.
I mean, it looks like a Saints Row Fortnite Back for Blood mashup thing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, all of those games are pretty fun.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, Fortnite, I don't play as
Sumac
much
replies,
anymore,
"A
but
confused child."
it is and this is all speculative. We don't know a whole lot about the game, but hopefully in the near future with the showcases and all the announcement stuff that we'll probably be getting in the next couple of months, we'll get a little bit more information to kind of like satiate our appetite, you know.
Yeah,
But unfortunately,
I was looking forward to Starfield,
it's
man.
the name of the game at this point.
Yeah,
Like I
I'd
wish
rather
I could
they
say I'm
spend some
surprised.
time making sure it's good rather than
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing that we've, I think, over the last couple of years, during the pandemic, I think that's something that we've all kind of learned to understand and take with a grain of salt is release dates, the complexity and intricacies of developing a game from home. I mean, that took a while to get used to that idea, and then to actually execute that concept in a productive way. It extends the time that they need to make something that they could have made in a fraction of the time pre-pandemic. And at this point, and this goes back to what I was saying about Cyberpunk is that was a proof of concept that rushing a game to make a deadline
yep,
in the pandemic
yeah.
is never going to be a good idea.
Well,
If you, unless you, yeah,
no, I was gonna say Zez wrote in the chat. Well, the CP2 2077 so
of
was
course,
more of a CD Projekt Red as a
right,
publisher issue, not a
right.
developer issue.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is
Yeah,
like having the let's say executive overlords having control over that release date and kind of holding the flame underneath the developers to force them into basically releasing a product that they're not comfortable or they don't think is completely ready. It's just proven time and
yeah,
time again that it doesn't work.
yeah.
That
It's a
idea
recipe for
of
disaster.
crunch, exactly. We've seen how it works during the pandemic and even before. Like I mean, think about every game that has come out in the last couple of years. I mean, let's go even beyond the pandemic. There's always it's weekly updates, day one patches. It's like these things that should be ready to go out the box aren't a thing anymore. And I think that's because we as consumers and executives as the overlords are like we're
Yeah.
chomping at both ends to try to get these developers to give
Part
us what we want sooner,
part of
and they
the
want.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say part of the I think what has added to that is the fact that the mentality shifted to, oh, we'll fix it online afterwards.
Exactly. The
Yeah,
patch and updates
yeah,
mentality is like, we're like, okay, well, it's good enough.
yeah,
And I, like you said earlier, and I completely 100% agree with you. I would prefer to wait longer for a high quality game that is polished and ready to go than I am to accept a game that is partially done and that is going to be updated down the line. It
yeah.
just, I personally, my backlog of games is big enough. I welcome these larger gaps of time between major releases because then that's not even taken into account indie developers and double A and single A titles that are amazing games that we just are so overwhelmed with major titles and them coming out so quickly and in rapid succession that it's just like finding time for every game is just impossible unless
Yeah.
you're like cloning
Yeah, we
yourself
have
and
more
playing.
time to play now.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
I welcome that.
Yeah.
I think it'll only help the entire not career but the entire um, gaming industry in giving people the opportunity to play these games and play them and put real time into these games and give the developers time to work on quality and just a little side topic and then we can get to the next story. Call of Duty, that has been an annual release. They're actually talking about
But it's always
breaking
the
that.
same thing. It's always the
Yeah,
same thing
I
over and
mean,
over with slight
it's rough.
variations. Yeah.
It's rough, and we're seeing that we're seeing the downside of that with an annual release. But they have been talking about breaking that and skipping a year, which I hope they do. I think they need time to develop a great story and not just focus on mediocre multiplayer.
Yeah.
But
So you mentioned polished and ready to go. You know what else
yes,
is
sir.
polished and ready to go?
Tell me.
The latest from Lego. And I love
Ah.
this thing, dude. This thing. I actually
Oh my god,
2 days ago I was at work and
bro.
somebody who works with me walked back in because we have a Lego store in the mall and they had it. They bought it and it was their last one.
Oh,
Yeah, it
dog.
was the
Oh
last
my
one. I was gonna
god.
head over and buy it. It's like $100 Canadian. So Lego's Horizon Forbidden West set brings the game to your shelf. Basically, um, it is a Lego tall neck. So anyone who's
Oh my
familiar with
god.
Horizon Forbidden West, playing either Forbidden West or Zero Dawn, the first game, you know that as Aloy you go through, you should build that on stream. Kirok says, Lady M. Wow, that's a great
I
idea,
second
Lady
that.
M.
I second that. I would love
If
to
I get
watch
my
that.
hands on it, maybe I will do that. I've actually thought of it, but not necessarily this. But we need the Lego set day one patch now. Says Zez.
They actually send you a bag of pieces. They're like, "Oh, we forgot these are actually supposed to be in there as well."
Well, are they? Do they show us a roadmap?
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly. Do
these
we
pieces are scheduled for like November timeframe. So
Oh
basically,
man.
this is it's an assembly kit of the tall neck, one of the robots in the game. The
Wow.
tall neck is a robot. There's a few of them throughout the world that you play that are strategically placed, and they kind of work like the Assassin's Creed game where you go up on a tower and you do that freestyle jump, and then it uncovers a whole bunch of your area map. The tall neck, you basically make your way up to the top, you override it with your staff, and then it allows you to see other things in the area. It lifts the clouds off the map so you can actually see things that you want to go to, points of interest, and so on in the game. The legs due in November, the arms in January, the head in 2024. Says that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, like this thing looks fantastic. Like it
It
looks
looks
amazing.
really
Actually, I'm gonna
cool.
click through as I talk about. I'm gonna click through the slideshow on their
I
website.
just finished the
Oh, you
slideshow.
just
I'm
did the
like,
slideshow,
"Oh
yeah.
my god, that's
Um,
so cool."
I want to get one of these myself, and then maybe I'll do what was suggested by Lady M. I'll get
Yeah,
if I
not
can
a
get
bad
my hands on it.
idea.
I'll do a live stream of it, put it together, and then I'll put it up on my shelf.
Yeah, I mean it's a great collectible piece, and I mean, like you said, the Tallnecks are very they're well known
Yeah,
in the
they're a very
Horizon
majestic
universe.
creature or robot
Yeah,
creature.
they're one of the few things that aren't trying to kill you the
Yeah,
entire time.
exactly. You're
So it's
right.
kind of nice to see, and I mean, Lego is just doing some incredible stuff. I mean, they are always coming out with something really cool. Like, what was it earlier this year, I think, or late last year? They did the Daily Bugle from Spider-Man,
Oh, okay.
and it was a massive build. I think it was like 7,000 pieces, had like I think 20 something little figures, but I mean, they're just like they're partnering with some incredible franchises, and I think seeing something like this, I welcome I welcome more gaming franchises to get on this and
Yeah.
do the same thing. You know?
Lady M says, I think a Lego build chatting stream with cool Spotify playlist would be lots of fun. I think
Oh,
that's a great idea.
that's the energy you want, man.
Yeah, man. Oh,
That's
by
a
the way, this thing is comprised of about 1,200 pieces, and the article
yeah,
I read through, they were saying it took them about 4 hours to assemble it.
that's
So
not
that could
bad.
be
I
like
mean,
a
that's a
one
good
one sit stream
yeah.
build. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's
How
an
tall
easy
is the
stream
tall
right
neck?
there.
How tall is the tall neck? I don't believe it said how tall it is, to be honest.
It doesn't say on the box. I'm gonna guess it looks.
Well, the box,
It,
I saw it in real life. The box was about,
so it's
yay
probably
big.
like about 14, maybe 14 to 16 inches tall.
Yeah,
I say
probably.
something
Probably
like that. I
really,
mean,
really neat.
it's really cool to see this, and like it does have one of the
I don't know if it's
what are
18
those little
inches.
it might be, but I would say it's probably anywhere from 14 to 18 inches, somewhere within there, just from looking at the fully built thing. But it also comes with the little raptor too.
Oh,
I forget the Strider, I think.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. A
that's
little
so
Aloy.
cool. I would love to see a whole series of like Horizon um
Oh,
builds. Like
Legos? Yeah, yeah.
imagine
Oh, yeah.
imagine they do the
A
oh,
Thunderjaw or something like that.
Thunderjaw. Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I don't have space to
I,
store
I
these, but
know.
I will make a space for a Thunderjaw. Like, that would be the coolest thing. And that's just like, why not, man? The build looks fun. It's simple. 13.5. Okay, so yeah, that's not too crazy.
Oh,
That's manageable.
13.5. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Just a little over a foot.
No, that's manageable. Oh, here's the Sumac said 10.32 by 15 by 3.7. Okay. That's not bad.
Anyways,
And
I wanted to share that. I saw the
I
box.
mean, that's cool.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
I love that. And, it goes along with our next story in fantastic news and crazy monsters or things. And it goes
Creatures?
by this creatures. Thank you.
Yeah.
Avatar 2, the thing we didn't think was actually going to ever come, dropped a trailer last week. Was it last week?
Yeah, I believe
Earlier
so.
this week.
Earlier
And
this
in
week.
the first 24 hours, it hit 150 million views on YouTube. This is a story from GameStop. Avatar: The Way of Water trailer hit YouTube and picked up 148.6 million views in just the first 24 hours. So it's a little less than 150. But this trailer is is a smashing success for what is
Uh-huh.
what is to be the next Avatar movie
Can
in
I
the
say
series. With
something real quick? Sorry,
no,
sorry to
no,
interrupt.
go ahead, please.
This article and the previous one, you had read GameStop, and that's my fault because I wrote GameStop in there.
Oh,
It's actually
is it
GameSpot. It's
GameSpot?
GameSpot.
Oh,
Sorry,
game. See,
that's
that's
my
why I was
fault.
the first story. I was like, GameSpot
GameStop.
or
Yeah,
GameStop?
that's my
Yeah,
fault.
okay,
Sorry about
GameSpot.
that.
Hey, we're giving shout out to the right people. GameSpot. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, GameStop. When did they start doing actually cool things? But GameSpot. Thank you. The next title in the franchise, Avatar: The Way of Water, dropped their new trailer, and it is crushing viewership numbers in the first 24 hours. And just to put it in comparison with some of the other big trailers in the first 24 hours, Black Widow had 116.8 million, Incredibles had 113.1, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker had 112.4. Uh, however, it's still behind. It is still behind a couple other trailers. Those were just the ones that were below it, but there are a couple other ones that are absolutely no surprise, just absolutely crushed that viewership.
Yeah,
Spider-Man: No Way Home, 355.5 million
that
views.
that one's the top one, isn't it?
That makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean, Spider-Man: No Way Home was,
I
man,
never
for
saw it.
anyone.
I never saw it.
Oh, dude, it for coming from a Marvel fanatic at this point, um, that trailer, I think, it sent the world, it put the world on fire. And
Mm.
Avengers Endgame with 289 million in the first 24 hours. That's a lot of views, man. Even for Avatar: The Way of Water, and it's been a long time since the first one came out. That one came out in 2000. Avatar, the first one, came out in
Yeah,
2009.
yeah, dude. I
That was
saw it.
13 years ago. I
I
had to do the
watched
math in
it
my head.
in theaters in
Same,
3D.
same. And
Yeah,
I don't usually watch 3D movies
neither do
because
I.
these glasses don't make it easy.
Yes, exactly why.
But but I think one of the driving forces has to be the hype around the sequel. I mean, we've just been hearing about it. It seems like it's one of those wave stories where it's like, it hits that peak. It's like, oh, James Cameron, dude, blah 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 for Avatar 2, and then it kind of dies down. They're like, oh, he was filming underwater, blah blah blah, and then it dies down again.
Mm.
I think once we finally got the trailer, and I think we got a release date for it as well, right? It's supposed
Uh,
to come out later this year. I think it's.
no, I think they are later this year.
I don't recall
They're
exactly.
re-releasing the first later this year
Okay,
to build
which
hype for this one, but I'm not sure
which
when.
I remember you guys recording this episode a couple weeks ago talking about Avatar re-releasing, and I'm like, James Cameron, you cheeky son of a gun. he's he's not he's not set with Marvel beating him for highest grossing film of all time. He's just will not let that happen. Because I don't know, is Avatar the top grossing film of all time, or did it get beat out? And
Ooh,
he's
I don't know.
because personally, my opinion and my unsolicited, no expert opinion, um, they're only re-releasing it to just completely take over that number one spot, or it is number one.
Oh,
They're
so Zez says he was there at opening night for the first one in 2009. Then he
mm,
says December is this supposed to be released
oh, okay.
I guess
So
holiday, but the first will be
okay,
in September.
gotcha. Okay,
Re-released in
so
September.
they're gonna re-release it. I think it's honestly this is the second time they've re-released it in theaters. Avatar. I think
I
they've done it once
couldn't be
before.
sure.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Correct me, Chad, if I'm wrong. But I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, it does make sense for them to re-release it before The Way of Water, to kind of remind people of, hey, this is what happened. Because 13 years is a long time between sequels. So I mean, obviously people can watch it on Disney Plus or whatever, Blu-ray or streaming service. Um, well, it was passed by Endgame and Disney, and then they wanted to top Endgame to put it back on top. So yeah, okay. So see, that's where I'm thinking. Like I'm just coming from like a mentality of like, if you're gonna be a top movie, if you're gonna be top dog, and you're gonna get overtaken by Marvel, you're gonna do what you have to do to get back on top.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
plain and simple. I get it. I get it. I don't really care to see it in theaters again. I'm probably just watch it on Blu-ray the night before I go see The Way of Water, but I get it. Disney. Well, that's the thing. They're both Disney titles, so it's like they're competing against themselves, which I don't think people really always make that connection that Avatar is owned by Disney. So they think they're like competing for that number one spot. In reality, the Mickey Overlord is in the shadows, just like tapping his white gloves maniacally, like laughing, like, "Oh, you guys are falling right into my trap." Oh. It's like that's what I picture. And you know what? Hey, they make good movies, and they deserve the money. So I think it's funny. I like the story. Avatar 2, super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
The trailer looked crazy.
Mhm.
I'm very curious where the story is going. So we'll see. I mean, later this year, it's supposed to come out. It's like an advertise the sequel is the biggest movie ever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, headlines sell, man. That's the way that's the way the world works. But we'll see later this year how if Avatar 2 lives up to the name or if it falls
Yeah,
flat.
I'm curious to see how it'll do because
Yeah.
it's the story that's going to have to carry it, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So Xbox Live recovers from an outage lasting several hours. Actually, it was more like 2 outages. There was another article says that they had an
Oh, snap.
outage right after. Yeah, Xbox Live. This was last week or a week and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Because the article's from May 8th, so it was a few days before that, a Sunday morning. So Xbox Live outage prevented gamers from launching cloud games, playing digital games, and making purchases in the Microsoft Store.
Yikes.
Yeah, man. There was a tweet that was sent out by Xbox support once they resolved the issue, and I'll read the quote from the tweet. Actually, it's in the article as well. It's right there. Players should no longer be seeing issues when it comes to purchases, launching games, or joining cloud gaming service or sessions. Thanks for being patient. Happy gaming. So they sent out the tweet once they corrected the issue. Um, this is one of those interesting things because it if you have an Xbox Series X or if you have an Xbox One X, everything in the gaming industry is shifting over to digital, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you can see both major companies, Sony and Microsoft, have released systems that have physical media, but they also have consoles that offer pure digital. They have versions of their consoles that do not have a disc slot. So something like this, when you kind of give up the game you bought, the power, who holds the keys, it kind of sucks because all it takes is something to go down or them to decide to turn it off, and then all of a sudden you can't play the game that you paid for,
Right,
right? Or
exactly.
even buy more games for that reason. And it's interesting because I'm a big advocate of having the physical copy, and I love collecting it and having it on my shelf.
Hmm.
And one other podcast I was watching, they were saying that if you don't have your account for Microsoft specifically, you need to at least, even if you have a physical game, you need to at least pop that disc in and go online for authentication to occur. Then you can disconnect from the internet and play that physical disc.
Right.
Otherwise, it will not launch. Even if, like, if you just have a console that's sitting not connected to the internet, it won't launch. And this, seeing something like this happen, something where it goes down, it kind of scares me a bit.
Oh,
Partially, you know what
totally.
I mean? It's like, well,
Oh,
hang on, I got this
100%.
massive library of games. How am I gonna play these games? Like, um, keep in
Yeah, I
mind
mean,
though. Sorry, go ahead. You were
no, no,
saying.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no,
Finish
no.
your thought.
I'll wait for you. Go.
This is what happens when you try to outdo a Canadian,
Mm.
on politeness.
Sorry.
No, it's just it's funny. I don't know if it's funny the right word, but it's interesting that we're seeing this kind of issue happen because, like you said, we're in a digital age where people are more inclined to just download the game to their system or save it to their account. Like I do this every month with PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
I don't play all those games, but I log on
Yes.
to add those games to my library, and if I want to play later, I'll download it.
Yeah,
Have a
100%.
good one, Sumac. We'll see you
See
later.
you,
Thank
Sumac.
you,
Happy
and
birthday.
happy birthday again. Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
coming.
stopping by. We appreciate it. I think,
Um,
yeah, I think seeing this issue and having it, having a light shined on this issue does kind of raise some concerns with the longevity of this issue because, like, knock on wood, heaven forbid, there's a huge like data or a huge a hack or something like that takes down
yeah.
their entire servers.
So you know where
People,
I'm going to
millions
go
of
with
people.
this. You know where
Oh,
I'm going to go
please
with it. I
take
don't
it
know
away,
if you
man.
remember back in the PS3 era, there was a big Sony outage.
I remember this.
And that
Yes.
Sony outage lasted over a month to get them to clear it up. And at first it was like,
Hmm.
oh, it's just a temporary thing. It's down.
Right.
Later on, they revealed, oh, it was actually a security
Yeah.
problem and
Security
all,
breach.
a security breach, and all your stuff is out there, guys.
Right.
Like
Like,
it's
oh, cool.
it's pretty. First off, you might not be able to play your game or buy a new game or authenticate and play a physical game. Second off, you have to have an account with credit cards to get that game, and that
Yeah.
information is now being held by someone else, and they're responsible for it. And then something happens, and that information gets out. It's just
It was very messy. I remember that because this was in the era where I think I was just out of high school, or I was in the late stages of high school, so I was able to purchase the system for myself. And I was like you, where it's like I liked physical copies of discs because it made more sense to me. Like, oh, if I want to play this game, I can just pop in the disc. The idea of digital downloads wasn't it was a niche idea back
yeah,
then,
yeah,
and so I never really grabbed onto that. And then seeing that, it still worried me because you buy let's say a DLC pack for a game that you own the disc for. It could potentially that little thing right there could have exposed your entire account. And I think I know that the technology and the security software is a lot better than it was then. It's better now than it was back then,
yeah.
but it's still with that. The flip side of the coin is these people are getting smarter and they're cracking these systems
Oh yeah,
just as efficiently. So it's always going to be a give and take of like how safe do we feel in this digital world that is sky is like rocketing towards that idea. And I mean there's still a way to fight it and owning the physical copies, but like you said, you still have to authenticate those discs. Like if you don't do that, you basically have a blank disc, right? If
yeah,
I'm understanding
yeah.
that correctly.
Well,
Like, that's
interestingly,
weird.
has Zez
That doesn't
on
make sense.
no, but Zez in chat says there are games that don't even have the game on the actual physical disc now too, so they're
Yeah,
literally just a
that blows
key.
my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're basically, your disc is a it's
authentication.
It's an authentication key.
Yeah.
It's not the game. It's not anything. That's what I don't get to is like if you buy physical copies of games, you still have to download and install the game. It's not like you can just run it off the disc anymore. You're still like, I put it, you put in, let's say, Deathloop. You get that on PS5. You still have to spend like probably 15 minutes installing the game onto your system.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't just drop it in and play.
No.
That idea is such a novelty now that it just seems like they're forcing us into this. They're like hurting us into this little lane of digital downloads and that and all of the like of that. And that sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like what you said. Sometimes you just want to play a game offline and you don't want to have the pressure of like, oh, you have to be online constantly. I think was the Xbox One. You had to do that. You had to always be
Yeah,
online.
Xbox One. That's how they
Crazy.
originally revealed
Right,
it at
when
E3, and it got really big backlash.
Right. I remember there was actually a documentary on YouTube that was talking about the life of Xbox and its like stages, and they had they had like a good, I think it was a whole episode, or maybe it was like the first half of an episode,
Right.
just talking about that backlash of like, oh, the system, the Xbox was made for blah blah blah, and it's just weird to see this whole thing. Um, we're in a limbo between the two, and we don't know which one's going to win yet, but I feel like we're on the leaning side towards digital. And I don't know how I feel about that, man. I don't like it.
Same.
I'm not a
Same.
big fan. But let's move on to a better story, a nicer story even. And we'll go through this one. This one's pretty quick because I'm not the most knowledgeable person about this topic, and I apologize for my pronunciation of the name, but Nkudi Gatwa
Gatwa, I believe. Yeah.
has been announced to be the next Doctor. That's Doctor number 14. And this is an article by The Verge. The BBC has revealed that Nkudi Gatwa will be taking the role as Doctor Who in the long running series. This Scottish actor he also played Eric F. Byong in Netflix comedy series Sex Education and will be starring in the upcoming Barbie movie. That's interesting.
That's pretty cool. I wonder if they're
Alongside
getting him
Margot
to play.
Robbie?
I don't know who they're getting him to play. McKen, maybe. They probably.
No. Ken is actually going to be played by Ryan Gosling.
Oh, you know that? Okay, I didn't know
Don't ask
that.
me why. No, it was at CinemaCon last week.
Oh, okay.
They had the first little snippet of it, and Margot Robbie as Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken. I'm sure it's going to be one of his friends, but it's exciting to see this his concept of the Doctor, the 14th one, and he will be receiving the torch, or the torch will be passed from the previous Doctor, who was Jodie Whittaker. She was the 13th Doctor, I guess.
Yeah.
Whittaker made history in 2017, being the first woman to play the role of Doctor Who, which is amazing to see.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Heck yeah, we want to see more diversity and inclusion in character roles that have been around forever. So A+ to them for doing that. But Godwa's first episode is expected to premiere at the end of 2022 to coincide with its 100th anniversary. Oh, with the 100th anniversary of BBC. I read that as the 100th anniversary of Doctor Who. And I was
no. Yeah,
what?
that's how I read it the first time too. Yeah.
They're actually time travelers, and this is crazy.
They use a TARDIS.
I mean, even then, 100th anniversary of BBC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They were around in the 1920s.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not a big Doctor Who fan.
So I was going to ask you, have you watched any of the Doctor Who's or followed it? I haven't. I haven't myself.
I think I've seen an episode. It was this. I don't remember who was the Doctor at the time. It was like it had something to do with a space whale.
Okay.
And it was a very heartfelt episode. I remember that much, and I think it's one of those franchises that it's so intimidating to get into at this point that like if you don't have somebody who's a diehard fan, or you're not a diehard fan yourself,
yeah,
it's hard to get into it.
Imagine trying to sit and watch the whole thing, like just to get up to speed.
That sounds way too intimidating.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's like, it's like with any fan, it's with any diehard fan base though. Like I'm sure you could say that about The Office or, gosh, I don't even know, like Star Trek. Well, that's another one that I think if you're looking from an outside, Really?
Yeah,
You?
I love Star Trek.
Kirok?
Yeah.
No, I
Star
don't believe
Star
it.
Trek.
I
Star
never
Wars.
pegged you
What's
for
Star Wars? Star Trek's where it's at.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I
now
gotta go, guys.
them's fighting
I'll see you
words.
later. No,
Oh,
it's cool to see more diversity in the role of the Doctor, and it just goes to show that like every reimagining of the Doctor, because I think there's like that's the whole concept is like it's not one single person, but it's a
yeah,
like a life cycle.
yeah.
Like another person becomes the Doctor. To see a person of color play the Doctor, it's exciting. It's really
It's
cool,
good.
and I can't wait to
Apparently,
see where
he's a
they go with
great
it.
actor. Like I
I
don't recall
mean,
seeing him in any other things, but
I haven't seen
apparently
Sex
he's a really,
Education,
really
but
good.
I've
Yeah.
heard about it.
Lady M says a few things in chat. As David Tennant said, they've gone as far as they can with pasty white men. He
See,
actually said that about Jodie Whittaker. Oh wow.
that's
Michael,
cool though.
her husband, was a huge
Oh, a huge
fan.
Doctor
Doctor,
fan.
yeah.
Okay.
River
River
Song
Songs.
is the best companion,
Oh,
and no
right.
one will change my mind.
I've heard that name. I think that was the. I think that might have been the season that had the space whale.
Oh,
I could be wrong. I don't remember. It was a long time ago that I watched it. So
and the
Kirok
Zez,
is about to start World War
yeah,
Three.
the Zez says I'm about to start World War III with comments like that.
Says,
uh,
I think you might be right, man.
have you ever
Getting
seen? Oh, never mind. I was gonna
no,
say.
no, no. Please
Okay,
go ahead.
there's a Swear Trek. Have you heard of Swear Trek? You've heard of Swear Trek. They're all over Twitter.
No,
They show memes,
swear
and it's
check.
just little scenes from Star Trek and Star Trek: The Next
Oh, do they
Generation.
bleep out
And
certain
and no,
words?
it's there's no sound,
Oh,
but you
okay.
get the white text, and they write in what the character is saying, and there usually is a swear
Oh
word in there.
no.
And there's
It's
this
like old
one,
timey
yeah,
films, like
there's this
silent
one where
films.
Jean-Luc Picard's sitting on the captain's chair, going, "What the fuck is Star Wars?" Star Wars. What the fuck is that?
Oh, you gotta love the camaraderie or the disdain for both of those fan bases that they have for each other. It's just something that I think will keep those both of those communities live and kicking even
Yeah.
long after us. But hey, I mean,
All
I
right.
welcome the next Doctor. I hope he kills it and
Yeah, I hope he does
brings a
well.
whole new life to it and opens up a window or opens up a door for up and coming actors that don't fit the pasty white male idea. I love that. I love that they're
Maybe,
pushing the envelope.
may,
I welcome that.
maybe in the next one after this Doctor, we can have a grandma.
You never know. I
You know,
mean,
because look, Skyrim's got a grandma.
Patrick Stewart could use some work. Right? Oh wait, no, grandma. I was thinking
No,
grandpa.
not grandpa, grandma, because Skyrim
Grandma.
has a grandma.
Hey, you
Um,
never know.
so
Talk about
Skyrim grandma Shirley Curry would like Todd Howard. If you guys don't know, Todd Howard's the guy who heads up Bethesda, who makes Fallout and Skyrim and all those games, to hurry up and finish Elder Scrolls 6. This is from Rock Paper Shotgun. So if you guys don't know who Shirley Curley is, she is known as Skyrim Grandma. You can look her up. She's online. Like, you just look her up, and there's like Wikipedia stuff on her. And she's gained popularity as a YouTuber gamer for her Skyrim videos, and people absolutely love this lady. Um, uh, Her popularity soared to the point where we actually reported this on a previous BRG podcast, and this was probably when me and Warp back in the day, like before we stopped for a while. They Bethesda indicated that they would honor her by putting her in as an NPC in Elder Scrolls 6. So they're going to make an NPC character that's based off of her, Skyrim Grandma, or Shirley Curry. Sorry.
I think it was the second. That's such a tongue twister.
It is
Curry.
Shirley Curry.
Curly.
Yeah.
Shirley Curry.
So the idea is that she's going to be in the game, which is like to the people who love Elder Scrolls, that is probably the biggest way or form of recognition, because everybody loves her playing their game. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So Bethesda's like, you know what? We need to do something here. We need to put her in the game. And this was something that is old news, right? So she was at PAX East 2022, and at her question answer panel, she was asked by a fan what she would like to say to Todd Howard. Todd Howard, again, being the guy who runs the show for Bethesda. And if he was there in person, and basically she had said, hurry up and finish Elder Scrolls 6. And I don't blame her, right? She went on to say, how about hi? Question mark. No, I'd ask him to give me a cool game, and I'd ask him to hurry up and finish Elder Scrolls 6. I want to play it before I die. Like she's being practical. Like, come on,
I mean,
man.
yeah.
And
I mean, I feel like they've always had that notoriety of like taking a
long time, yeah.
long
So
time.
hang on. So actually, I want to tie this into the article you brought up earlier tonight, and that is the fact that they're delaying Starfield. So Bethesda, the same company that
Yep.
makes Elder Scrolls, is delaying Starfield. I imagine as a company, they probably have most of their resources on that Starfield. And if that
That makes
Starfield has
sense.
just been pushed back another year, that means Elder Scrolls is easily pushed back another 2
Oh, 100%. I
because
mean,
they're not
it's
going to refocus the team. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I
no.
don't run a company that makes
I
video
mean,
games.
in the timeline of like game development, and this is also coming from an outside perspective, but you don't drop a project when you're on the when you're on the tail end of it to work on. I mean, you may as departments become less critical for the game's final stages, maybe they can refocus those people to work on Elder Scrolls 6, but that's still a partial team working on a game that is years out, years out. So yeah, I mean, it only makes sense that because Starfield is getting delayed, we're gonna see a delay with
Oh yeah, Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6. I almost said Elden Ring 6.
Elden Ring 6.
Yeah, it
And
just
so
makes sense.
this is the thing. I promised myself I would build a new PC once they announced the release date for Elder Scrolls 6, and that means I'm not going to be building a PC anytime soon.
Right. Yeah, we'll probably be it'll probably come out to VR only, and like, or you'll have to jack into the Matrix for Elder Scrolls 6. You'll
Yeah,
just have to
probably.
sit in like a one of those deprivation tanks, those
Oh
like
yes,
the saltwater tanks that you just like
you just float
you're
there.
probably gonna have to do that. Yeah, you're just gonna float in. They're gonna like jack you into the system, and then
Uh,
you'll play Skyrim
Lady M
6
says
or
when
Elder Scrolls
sure.
6.
Lady M says when Shirley had her stroke a few months ago, Bethesda sent her a lovely care package.
That's awesome.
She opened in on a video on her channel.
I
That's
mean,
pretty.
that's really
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
to see that relationship, especially for somebody that has a deep passion for their studio and
And a big
their
following
project.
too. So
Yeah, of
yeah,
course. I mean, it's a
it's
slam dunk of an idea. Like
so
you send.
when
Hmm.
I sorry to interrupt. When I
Oh no,
say a
go ahead, go ahead.
following, I'm not saying oh she's got big numbers. I'm saying a following as in a community that
Yeah.
loves her and what she does as she plays a game. That's what I mean.
Oh, and totally. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the beautiful thing about being content creator is you get to build a community of people that will be, that will lift you up and, you know, put you into the spotlight by just supporting you. And this goes to everyone in chat right now. You guys are supporting this podcast, so thank you.
Thank you.
You got to give the shout out to the community.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, she's built a great community on YouTube. So to see, uh, and it's kind of it's a very funny story. She's just like, yo, can you hurry up and like
Like
make this
I
game?
want to play. I want to
I want to play
play. Come
before I
on.
die. Hello. It's just like, I
But
think I think a lot of us feel that way,
yeah,
surely.
she at least one thing's for sure. She's gonna be immortalized in the game. Like you know what I mean?
That's really cool.
That's
That's
really cool.
another thing that I think is just incredible to see. And on the back end, I imagine it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to do something like that. So that just shows the respect that they have for her in the
Yeah,
community
exactly.
and vice versa. And we've seen that a few other times in other games. People are immortalized through the game itself. So to see this with Elder Scrolls 6,
Sorry,
I keep
it's
wanting
tongue twister.
Elder Ring 6. No, to see her immortalized that way is something really exciting, and I'm sure her community will go nuts
Yeah, for
when that
sure.
comes out.
Yeah,
But until then, Kirok, I think we're going to be stuck
yeah.
with the game that will not go down without a fight. That
Which game
is
is that?
Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. I swear to you, this game just comes back every year and it just punches us in the face and say, "Hey, remember me?"
Yes,
Well,
it does.
friends, let me tell you, there's a new mod out that gives you the ability to keyhole peep in game. That is a crazy thing. So, to give you guys a little bit of information, an article on PC Gamer, there is a developer by the name of what was the name? Oh, I lost it.
Jay Serpa.
Jay Serpa, thank you. He created a mod for Skyrim that gives you the ability to peek through a keyhole in a door in kind of like a stealth way. And we saw that in games like Splinter Cell and Hitman on previous titles. Gave you the ability to like kind of scope out a room before you go in.
Yeah, I
Well,
did that in those games.
I
Splinter Cell was
it,
awesome.
it's funny that this article mentioned Splinter Cell because I completely forgot about that feature in that game, and it just reminded me how amazing Splinter Cell was.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Great,
like,
great.
damn it, can we get another Splinter Cell?
Please bring it on.
But it's really cool how he did it, though. It wasn't as much of a like you can still be caught. There's still this indispensable stealth tool that you have to use. Basically, what happens is the animation plays of your character crouching in front of the door, and the screen fades, and you peek through the keyhole. But your viewing is limited. Obviously, you can't see the whole room, but NPCs that are roaming around the city or the towns that you are trying to peep in, they can get upset with you. They can
if they
tell you,
spot
"Hey,
you.
what the hell are you doing?" You know, just
Hey,
like any other.
you.
Exactly. I'm sure you're gonna see that. Hey, you shouldn't be doing that, like kind of thing. But it's really cool how how the mod pack works, and I'll explain it right now. When you crouch to peep through the hole, the game makes you invisible and teleports you just inside the door and puts you in a chair, paralyzing you so you can't move. So it kind of uses the properties of the game already to kind of like circumvent this idea of seeing through the keyhole. And I think this idea is just really cool, and the mod pack I think it's available right now, right?
Yeah, it's available now.
Yeah,
In fact,
it's available right now, guys. If you have Skyrim and
yeah.
you wanna get into some
What's the
stealthy
name of
boy,
it? What's it called?
the stealth or
The actual
mod pack
mod.
is called Take a Peek.
Take a peek. Yeah, in fact, Lady M says I saw Meji using that mod on his stream. It's a cool idea.
Says Peeping Tom Sim 2022. It's all about how you're using the tools. It could be used for nefarious capabilities, but if you're like me who loves to play games stealthily, if you're trying to steal somebody's loot and you're trying to steal all their stuff, you want to make sure they're not in the room, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
to be able
Well,
to
that
look through the
actually makes
keyhole.
sense. There is a
Yeah,
purpose for it.
exactly. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of fun features or a lot of fun uses for it. And hey, Skyrim refuses to die, and this just is proof that it will not die. It is forever going to be haunting us and creeping.
And I
through
keep
the
buying
darkness.
it too. That's the thing. I have probably like
That's the
4
thing.
or 5 copies of it.
I think I bought it like 2 or 3 times, and at the third time, I'm like, why am I doing this? I think I originally got it for the 360, then the PS3, then I think I got it for the PS4, and that's when I was like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
It's because I got rid of those other systems, and then I want to play this again.
Yeah. I have
I'm just gonna keep doing it.
I have it on Steam, both the regular Legacy, then the Special Edition. Then I have the VR version. Then I have it on Xbox, and then I also have it on Switch.
Oh, only 5 copies?
Yeah, 5 copies.
Come on now. Well, you gotta. Do they have it for PS5?
Yeah, I think they do.
Well, you got to get 2 copies for both of your PS5s, man. I
mean, yeah, no
what are you
kidding.
Doing? You're slacking. No, it's crazy. Hey, you know what? That's just a testament to what they made with Skyrim. They made an incredible game that it stood the test of time, and we can only hope that
Elder Scrolls
6, thank you,
yeah,
will do something similar and give us that same long-standing excitement. But that's who knows when that'll happen. Maybe 2033. We'll hope. We'll cross our fingers for that.
Yeah. Well, that was great. I loved all these articles were awesome, dude.
There were some great stories in there.
Yeah, there were some good stories.
For sure.
But right now, I think it's time for us to move on to the main topic. The topic of the show is Nintendo Switch. What's next? So we're going to go into that segment and cover off a few things, some facts and details about it, and then we'll have a little chit-chat about it, okay?
Yeah, man, we'll wrap it up. Heck cool. Yeah.
Here we go. All right. So, I'm going to start off with... 1 second. Not ready. Okay, now I'm ready. All right. So, Switch sales surpass 107 million worldwide. So this is from, and I did it again in the document show notes. GameStop,
It's
yeah, from
GameSpot.
GameSpot. This article's on
I mean,
GameSpot.
you're only 2 letters off.
I know
It's
it's
close
my
enough,
dyslexia.
right?
So Nintendo Switch has now surpassed 107 million sold consoles, which puts it in line with the topping the PS2 as all-time bestseller. So my understanding, or I've heard this before actually, that the PS2 was is the best-selling console of all
Yep.
time. And we're now starting to close in on the PS2 sales, lifetime sales with the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty
Crazy.
freaking sick. The PS2 had a lifetime sales number of 158 million units.
Not bad. It's
Yeah,
okay.
so 107 to 158, that's not a big gap.
That's not a major difference, you know.
I mean,
But
yeah, like myself. I actually decided I was going to show my
you
my
got to show them off, man.
yeah. So I speak funny because I have two.
See, you're 2 of those people.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
I actually
You got the
had
OLED?
three. I actually had three, but I traded.
you?
I had not no, I didn't
Nice.
trade in. I had this is the OLED. The white one is the OLED. This is
Right.
the not the OG. It's the upped version. I can't hold it
Yep.
straight. So this one has the newer chip in it. This one has the better
Oh,
screen,
gotcha.
right? But I also had the Switch Lite, and
Oh, yeah,
I ended
that
up
one was-
selling that to my buddy at work because the way I was doing it is I was using this guy for gaming docked. You use it docked
Yeah.
most of the time, right?
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think the majority of my gaming on my Switch, which I have right here, I do the majority of my gaming docked, just because
Yeah.
you know the quality, you get that little quality boost, and I have a day one Switch, so
Oh, yeah,
my
okay.
battery life sucks at this point, and I have
okay.
Joy-Con drift that I haven't fixed yet, but we
Oh, you
don't
do
talk
have
about that.
Joy-Con drift. I've never had
I
that.
do have it in one of the Joy-Cons. It just recently happened. I have a day one that didn't do it until, like, I would say maybe 6 months ago. But I use my Pro controller, so it's not even a big
Pro
deal.
controller's sick. It's so good.
I swear by it. It's worth every penny.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
expensive, but it's worth it.
Oh, I think I have
But
one right
yeah,
here.
I mean, yeah, I got mine right here.
It's dusty, but
Yeah, we got a few Switches in our household too. My girlfriend has one, I have one, and then I got her a Switch Lite
oh wait, why am I
years
doing
before
this?
she.
I have a close-up cam, and I have a
Oh, there
candle
you go,
going,
man.
guys. There you go. And I'm gonna
There you go.
burn it because the candle's right under it. Move that out of the way. There you go. So that's the
Yeah, that
Pro
might be a-
controller. Yeah, fire hazard.
A Pro controller is like it's almost like an essential. If you're playing Switch seriously and if you're putting serious time into it, just for the sake of your hands and your like making sure you
Oh,
don't develop carpal
big
tunnel
time.
syndrome, you got to have the Pro controller. It's gonna save your hands, and it just fits in the hand really well. But it's
So-
incredible to see.
I just want to explain why I have so many, because some people are like, "Why do you have so many?" Zez actually, before I continue, says in the chat, it's still 50 mil for a 5-year-old console. He's got a good point
Right.
there. He's got a good point
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
No, it's kind of, I think, one of the biggest kind of headlines to this topic is it's only it's not super long in its life cycle.
Yeah.
When did this system come out?
March 17.
2017.
Oh no, March 2017. Thank you.
So yeah, that's not a lot of time, and most console life cycles are 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's if they do well. I mean, we've seen systems not do as well.
Yeah, and then die like a year or two later.
Yeah,
but-
R.I.P. to the Dreamcast. Man.
So I had the light, and the reason I had the light was I would keep this guy docked all the time and play connected to the TV, and then the
Right.
light was my portable version, which I would take to
Right.
work with me and whatever. But then when they released the OLED version, I got this because of the better screen, and I
Right.
ended up selling the light to a buddy at work, and then started using this still as my docked one, and this one as my carry
Makes
everywhere.
sense.
Because
I mean, with that
I'll
quality.
I'll take advantage of
Yeah.
the OLED display. So really
Of
cool.
course. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, with the OLED, you got it was a drastic jump in quality from
Yeah.
from handheld, the original handheld Switch to the OLED.
Yeah.
it was like night and day from
Uh,
what I've seen.
and
I don't
there's a
have the
few
OS
things that
myself.
are nicer about it, like the kickstand is actually way better on this
Oh
one.
my god, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the kickstand is it's
Oh,
not
that's
this little thin thing that comes out; it's the whole back.
it's always like off kilter and it just like doesn't
Yeah,
work as well.
the whole thing just kind of like comes out like
Oh,
that.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
but so one of the major contributors to the Switch's success was actually a game that came out, and it happened to come out right in line with that time about a year and a half ago when we were all locked down and told to stay home.
Bro, it was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years.
2 years
Freaking
ago.
hell! Holy
I hate to break it to you, man. That was 2 years
Where did my
ago.
life go?
It's something that we're living in the darkest timeline,
Oh
man.
man, and
No,
well, that game
yeah,
you and I both played it. We love it.
you did.
It is Animal Crossing: New Horizon. Came out in 2020 March, and
Yep.
such a good game.
When it came out, man, is
Yeah,
what we needed.
and I mean, we would okay.
I love that.
I hope nobody from work sees this. We were all told to stay home. Work was like, okay, we have online meetings. You got to come in, and I'm like, yeah. And below the table, I got this thing going.
What? You
Yeah.
did not.
I only
You
did it. I only did it
oh.
like once. Come on. I was just
I
so
mean,
addicted.
hey, I get it, man. I'm not gonna lie. You know, you gotta keep your Switch on you when that game came out. There's not a single person I knew that didn't put 100 hours a week into that game
Into the
because
game.
it was one of those things that you just couldn't put down, and it was at a time when we needed something to distract
Keep
us
us
from
distracted. Exactly.
to distract us from what was going on around us. And for a lot of people, they were stuck at home. They couldn't go anywhere. They weren't supposed to go anywhere. So what do? You play video games. You get into that. You try to enjoy the time that you have. And thankfully enough,
Zez says once.
once
Are you serious, Kirok?
we're just gonna, hey, you know what? This is one of those things where we just plead the fifth. We sweep that under the rug. We don't
So,
talk about that, man.
Nacho, I have some questions for
Yes.
you. I know you.
Yeah,
I
bring it
know
on.
you like the Switch.
I love my
I
Switch.
love the Switch too. Of the consoles you have, which is your favorite console? Is it the Switch or not? And if it is,
That's a tough question.
so it is a
I'm
tough because I want to.
it's
Okay, go ahead.
no, please. I'm gonna have to say no, and not because the Switch is not an amazing console itself. Um, it did get me through a lot of challenges, but the it's hard to say because there was a time period where I didn't play my Switch at all, and
Okay.
it was like when the Switch first came out, I was dedicated to it. I was hooked on it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I still haven't beaten Breath of the Wild, but don't get on me about
I
that.
haven't beat it
Um,
either. Don't worry. We're in
there
the
was a lot
same
of games
boat.
that I played,
And I
and
put
there's
like
a lot of
100
games that
hours into that game.
exactly,
So,
yeah, you just kind of get lost in that game,
yeah,
and you never
yeah.
really finish the story. That's what happened to me. But to be honest, I've always been a diehard PlayStation fan. Given
Okay.
day in day out, when it comes to what console brings the most value to me, it's always been the PlayStation. The first party titles, the third party titles, it's always been stuff. And I personally find myself attracted to more story based games. And with PlayStation, we also got the multiplayers. Rocket League, Call of Duty, the shooters, all that stuff. You got both. You got the best of both worlds in that system. And I've owned almost every system since the PlayStation 3 at this
Okay.
point.
Yeah,
At least one point in my life I've owned them. I've gotten rid of them, and it's here and there. But I will say it's a toss up, man. I mean, there have been some incredible games that Nintendo has come out with that I personally didn't give enough credit to. So it's like, I have something that I'm like very it's a weird balance. It's almost like even, but I think with the PlayStation, I find myself attracted to more of the titles that come with it,
gotcha.
where Nintendo Switch has more titles that I don't expect to be as good and that just blow my expectations out of the water.
Right.
But it seems like it's happening frequently enough that it's like, well, maybe it's just not my system to be like to fanboy over, but I don't hold anything against it. I still love playing the games that I have for it, and that's kind of where the chips fall for me. It's like I love gaming. It
Yeah.
doesn't really
It
matter.
doesn't matter
It's
where you're doing it, right?
if there's a first party title on the Switch that I can't play on my other systems, I'm probably gonna get it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
but what about you, man?
yeah, so for myself in terms of the consoles, I it's a tough one too. I know exactly what you mean. I
Yeah.
I lean more towards the Xbox.
Okay.
Mind you,
Yeah.
though, since the new consoles have been out, the Series X and the PlayStation 5, I've been putting so much into my PS5 and hardly anything into my Xbox. And I have the Xbox
Yeah.
and I have Game Pass and everything, and I do love it. I love their system. I think it is superior personally, but
Mm,
the PlayStation 5 has got my games right now. You know what I mean?
right.
When it
No,
comes to the
totally.
Switch, on the other hand, I absolutely love that console. I think it's partly due to it being a nostalgic.
Hmm.
When I say nostalgic, I mean the games that come out on it. We're seeing a
Totally.
lot of older games being re-released or remastered or reported on it, and some people
Right.
are like, "Oh, why would I buy it again?" And it to me, I love that because I remember that game. Oh, that old
Yeah.
Knights of the Old
They play off the
Republic.
novelty and nostalgia
Yeah,
of it.
and
Totally.
so I was like, you know what? To me, it's a great console, and I absolutely love it. Is it my favorite? No, and I'm still probably going to give the edge to Microsoft, even though I'm not playing that too
Well,
much, right?
it's funny that we both kind of have this similar like feeling about Nintendo, and it drives home my overall concept of the whole console war.
I am still playing
Like we've
Horizon.
always had these the big three:
Yeah,
Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony. They've
yeah,
always kind of been those three existing around each other, with the outliers that'll kind of pop up and disappear. But it's funny because like as of the last like let's say 5 to 10 years, we've seen it kind of go down to Nintendo or not Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft. Those
hmm
two are butting heads, trying to outdo one another. And the thing that I think sells me the most, and what is kind of like the most exciting part about Nintendo, is they're just doing their own thing, man.
yeah. They're
They
like,
do not follow the framework. They're not trying to make a controller similar. They're not trying to add some gimmicky feature to their system to sell it. They're just like, man, we're doing what we want to do. We're making something that we want to make. It's very in their own realm. And I think for me, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, strip away all this the title the first party titles, take away all the features that are offered, or we'll just say the first first titles.
yeah,
Um, you look at the console themselves, and I think Nintendo is doing more to push the envelope of what's capable with gaming, and I like that I like that for them versus PlayStation and Xbox kind of just like battling each other for hardware, and like, oh yeah, well we can do 6.7 gigaflops of processing, and we have smart capability functionalities, and ours works as a toaster oven. And Nintendo's just like, you can take our console and go wherever the hell you want to go and play
yeah.
it.
You
I'm
could
like,
take the
I
game,
dig
play it
that.
on your TV, and then pick it up and walk out the door and keep playing it.
Exactly. While they're arguing in the room,
Yeah.
you can go walk out and play your game. It's kind of the fun part. Touchscreen portable and docked, not a gimmick. No, I'm
uh
saying
oh
I'm saying the them doing their own thing and not fighting over like what gimmick will outdo the other.
right.
Not saying that they don't have gimmicks. I'm saying they don't care what the other competition is doing.
Gotcha.
They're just focused on doing their thing and doing the best that they can. They're not worried about what Microsoft or what Sony is doing with their console. They're not trying to push the envelope of 8K resolution,
Right.
HDR gaming. They're just like, I mean, just look, the OLED came out last year, and that's getting them up to the bare minimum of what the next gen consoles are doing, or even not even the next
Not
gen consoles.
even. Yeah.
What the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the Xbox One, that's like bare minimum what they're doing, and this is Switch's current system. So they're just like, they don't care. I love that. It's a breath of fresh air that isn't the
They don't
console
fall
war conversation.
into that, that they're not they don't I don't know how to say it. They don't fall into the cookie cutter.
Yeah, exactly. They're not
Cookie
trying
cutter
to. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm.
well, the
I guess
gamers.
the long-winded roundabout way of what I'm saying is they're not trying to fit the framework of what the console war has set.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing, and they're doing it really well. Clearly, the Switch selling over 107 million units, and in probably by the end of its lifespan, will break as the number one selling system,
It probably
especially if
will.
we you know, I could very realistically see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth of it.
So
Now,
the next article for the Switch is actually from Nintendo Life, and on this one, they're basically saying that Nintendo, because they had their earnings meeting recently,
right?
and they're saying that they want to avoid a repeat of what happened with the Wii U with the successor of the Switch. So
Yeah,
they maintain that the Switch is in the middle of its life cycle at this
right.
point in time, which I would say in the average life of a console, they're about right.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
which is kind of comforting because I'm the owner of a Switch and I kind of don't want it to be over. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So
No, there's still a lot of life in this
yeah,
system.
exactly. Even though it is an underpowered system compared to the other consoles that are out, current gen consoles that are now out from Sony and
Right.
Microsoft. But at the same time, it's also a little worrying seeing other more capable consoles starting to hit the market and the same form factor, such as a big one that's already come out. It came out in, I think it was end of February. Is the Steam Deck.
Right.
So the Steam
Yeah.
Deck isn't really. I remember hearing an article about the guys at Valve saying it's not really a competitor to the Switch because it's not
Right.
really a console; it's a PC. But
Right. It's a
when you look,
handheld
it's a
PC.
handheld PC. But when you look at it, the form factor is it's gonna overlap. It's gonna encroach. You can't get around that, right?
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, just from a logistical standpoint, if you tried to build a handheld system in any other way, whether it be like a controller with a monitor above or below, there's gonna be
It's
some
gonna look,
complication
yeah,
with not only looks but like how it feels in your hand. Like if you put a monitor above the controller, it's going to be top heavy. It's going to put a lot of strain on your
yeah,
wrist. By having the screen in between the controller, it gives you that center mass where the screen and the controllers are kind of one piece. So it makes sense, and I think that idea that it is similar but it's different is very accurate. And it's not like the Steam Deck is trying to, and probably isn't really encroaching on a lot of the Switch sales, because I mean, if you look at it, a lot of the reasons why people buy a Nintendo Switch, you can't play that game anywhere else, so it doesn't
oh, yeah,
really
like the
matter.
Mario's and the
Exactly.
the
Those first party titles
Metroids and
are,
yeah.
exactly, they're only playable. I mean, and then you can get into the mucky or the gray area where it's like, well, you can get an emulator kind of
Oh
thing,
yeah,
where it's
nah,
like,
I don't do that.
sure, I guess, but if you're not willing to take the time and effort to emulate your Steam Deck, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Like, not everyone
exactly.
wants to go through. And that's the thing. Is like not everyone wants to go a roundabout way to play a game on their Steam Deck if they can just play it on their Switch.
Yeah, they'll go with
It's
the easy route.
like,
They'll go the
exactly, the
easy
path
route.
of least
Yeah,
resistance will
exactly.
always will always
Zez says
prevail.
that Zez says in chat, there's an idea that they pushed back Breath of the Wild 2 so that it will release with the Switch successor.
I've heard that as
That I
well.
kind of believe because they did the
It
same
wouldn't
with Breath of
surprise
the
me.
Wild from Wii U to Switch.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, yeah, it kind of, like, just looking at that from a headline standpoint, it makes sense. Like, we're seeing Breath of the Wild 2, which is projected to be the new best, it's going to be the top game for Nintendo when it comes out. It makes sense to pair that with a new system.
Yeah.
Now, what that system will be, that's a big question
Well,
mark, because
yeah. So a Switch 2, what Switch Pro?
yeah, what are they going to call it?
I know.
Exactly. The
Um,
Switch U? Are they going to try that
no,
again?
no way, no. I don't think
No,
they'll even do that.
I
So
doubt that.
So hang on. I'm going to read. I'm actually going to quote from this
Yeah.
article. It says, unlike the past, we continue to have a large variety of games scheduled to be released, even beyond 5 years of release. So that they're saying that there's a ton of games that they've got scheduled down the pipeline, even beyond the 5 years that it's already at. This is because
Right.
the Nintendo Switch has had such a smooth launch, allowing us to focus all our development resources on a single platform. They go on to say, however, the question of whether we will be able to just as smoothly transition from the Nintendo Switch to the next generation of hardware is a major concern for us. Based on our experience with the Wii, Nintendo DS, and other hardware, it's very clear that one of the major obstacles is how easy the transition from the one hardware to the next. So yeah, I mean, they'd be dumb if they're not planning and figuring it out right now.
Oh, it's 100%
Yeah,
in the pipeline. They're working on it just behind closed doors. It's I guarantee you, any of the major developers, Sony and Microsoft, guarantee you they're conceptualizing the next generation now. It may not be something that they're putting a lot of time and effort into, but you'd have to be crazy not to try to think about the next thing. The second the system comes out, like the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, they're already in that planning process
yeah,
for the next generation, because you have to think that far ahead. And with people having, short attention spans, they get complacent with the current generation probably in the next couple of years, but that's I think where it plateaus, and then we start seeing really well developed games come out. I
yeah.
mean, even more just in higher
That
quantity at
they
that point.
they
And then we also
basically squeeze every ounce that they can out of
yeah,
that
yeah, of course,
console. Yeah,
as they should. I mean, that's kind of the point of gaming systems, is
yeah.
to, you have that climb of getting to the current generation, and then you ride that out. And then when it starts to dip a little bit, then you start teasing the next generation. It's the cycle of gaming. It's not going to change. It's not going to go away.
But
Now,
it definitely needs a successor, because this was more of a spec bump. It wasn't really a new version or anything
right.
like that.
I mean, I think it just only makes sense for the next generation,
Yeah.
to be an upgrade. Now, what that upgrade will be,
So I was gonna
I
ask you.
don't
I
know.
was gonna ask you. What do you think? What do you think they might have in the next Switch? Like what? Because right now this is not even a 1080p screen. Like
No,
what kind of features do you think that? Will they
I
even retain the Switch? They should if they're gonna call it
I
a
feel
Switch
like
too, right?
I feel like it's like in that quote. This launch has been smooth for them. Why would they try to rock the boat by reinventing the wheel? I
Yeah.
see this being a switch to Switch Pro. It's
Yeah.
like what we saw with the Xbox One to the Xbox One X, and they had several evolutions of the Xbox One. Why
Yeah.
not do that for the Nintendo Switch? Sure, they could offer like it's hard to see where exactly that'll be. I know, everyone's pushing for 4K. I don't see that
No.
being realistic, because they don't make games that will they don't make first party games, I should say, that truly will benefit off of a 4K resolution. Plus, that would also create a complication with storage file size, and overheating issues, because once you start getting into 1080p and 4K, the processing it needed to run these high end games,
Yeah.
it would it could overheat the system very easily. So I can see 1080p being their high end, or their standard to high end, where it's like
You're
the
talking on the screen, right?
on the screen,
Yeah.
and the quality of what which they make with a Switch Pro. I mean, I realistically, I think the Switch Pro will probably be the next step in its evolution.
Yeah.
There's no reason to try to make a whole new ecosystem for Nintendo when the Switch currently is still working incredibly well.
I
And
wonder. I
it,
wonder if they do something like maybe make the screen actually bigger.
I
Like
could see that
they
being
already narrowed the borders on this one.
right.
Maybe they'll
Yeah.
make an actual slightly bigger
I mean,
Switch.
they could. It doesn't seem like it would be a crazy jump to do that. I mean, and it's hard to say, because like it's hard to conceptualize what could they do better
Better,
than that
yeah.
they currently have. I know Zez is mentioning VR. I
Switch
don't
VR.
Switch
Wow.
VR, I don't know. I don't see them getting into the VR space for a while. Maybe in the next iteration of Nintendo, we get past the Switch generation, maybe in the next one,
Bring
but I
back the
just don't see
Virtual Boy.
my god,
Oh.
dude. If they brought that back, I would buy that 100%. I had the virtual, or sorry, my cousin had the Virtual Boy, and
Oh.
we played it all the time, and I loved that game. There was this boxing one that was the most fun game I've ever played, and it just like it brings me back, and the nostalgia of that was amazing. It's probably why I have why I need to wear glasses, but it was a lot of fun. But it's an interesting concept. I don't think that they may be humoring that idea. I don't see it being realistic, just because it seems like a lot more work than what they were willing to put in, especially with like they're kind of not really rocking the boat with what they're doing currently.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna try to make the user experience on what they currently have another level better, and then another step higher, and it'll probably be with better internal storage, or
Yeah, they'll probably bump up the
maybe.
storage.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could have a better internal storage with a expandable memory card that will let you store a larger amount, or even maybe they'll include something in the dock itself that gives you maybe we'll get a M.2 drive that could be put in the dock itself. So once you connect your Switch to the dock, you have access to this massive
Oh
library
wow, yeah, that's
through
not
a
a bad
M.2
idea.
drive, which would, I don't know how that would work exactly, but I mean, it's a concept that would make sense. And, I think
They
they're
could
next.
about the
Mm,
4K, because you were saying I don't think, but if they ever did want to do that, they could
yeah.
build that as like circuitry in the dock.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
I think that, and you know what? Maybe we're getting down to the root of this is maybe it's not the Switch itself that is going to get the major upgrade. Maybe it's the
the
dock.
dock. Yeah, that's not.
I mean,
Yeah,
why
I
not?
like that. That makes more sense.
Because then it gives you not only the capacity to just move your Switch to the dock itself, or it could have could be some capacity where it's like you maybe don't have to fully upgrade to the next evolution of the Switch right off the bat. Maybe you can upgrade the dock, or then buy the casing, or the not the casing, but the handheld itself, and kind of have some weird hybrid evolution thing, because
Mm,
it seems just weird enough that Nintendo would vibe with that.
man, I never even thought of
It's
that.
it's
That's
inter-
pretty
it's an
cool.
interesting. I mean, it's kind of we kind of stumbled our way into a kind of interesting way to look at this,
Yeah.
with the dock being, maybe the dock is going to be the focal point, and it's not so much the massive evolution on the handheld itself. But
Well,
again,
whatever it
speculation is
is,
speculation.
yeah, whatever it is, I gotta say one thing, and that is because I have a huge Switch library. I really want them
I,
to be able to do some backwards compatibility. To me, that's probably most
that
important.
that should be their focus. I
Yeah,
mean, we see a little bit with the Nintendo Online
yeah, I know,
features,
but I
but
don't.
it's really not that
I want to be
great.
able to take the Switch game and put it into the Switch Pro and still play it.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I mean?
backwards compatibility will have to be with the next generation. I think it's, if they're planning on doing a Switch Pro, it's got to have backwards compatibility. Otherwise, you're just gonna be giving the middle finger to your entire audience
Yeah.
by like creating something similar but just different enough that you can't play all the games that you currently have.
Mm,
That would be kind of a, there's no excuse for backwards compatibility issues anymore from anybody. 100%. A lot
agreed.
of that is it's just they're being stubborn.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It.
Yeah.
They
Absolutely.
just don't want it. They're like, no, we're not going to make a lot
No.
of money off of it. It's that's kind of what it feels now, especially with the next gen systems. They're like, well, PlayStation, they're doing their thing. They're trying to get people excited about their new. I don't even know what it's called. Their new
The
Game
new. Yeah,
Pass
I know.
thing.
I know. I don't even
It
know what
just,
it's called.
I don't really care. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I got Game Pass. I don't see PlayStation kind of doing something well enough to be able to compete with Game Pass, but
Yeah.
I look forward to them proving me wrong, and maybe we'll see that similarly with the Switch. But
All right.
realistically, we're probably not going to, because there's just no money in it,
Yeah.
so they're not going to do it. The all new PS
Oh,
Plus.
new PS Plus. Oh wow.
That's what they're calling
That's a
it.
good name.
That's what they're calling it, man. That's what it is, I guess. Well, all right then.
Well, that's
But
pretty much our main topic for the evening.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I'm
I,
curious to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know what, but then again, it's a few years, easily a few years off.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're not gonna hear about this for at least, I'm gonna guess, what's it, 2022. We might hear
it's like
some news, or
2026,
maybe I was gonna say 2025, but
25.
2025, 2026,
Yeah,
maybe. I think that's when we'll start to maybe hear the
some
discussion of
rumblings. Yeah,
yeah, exactly, a
yeah,
real
yeah,
discussion about what's the next evolution.
yeah, yeah. I
But
agree.
I don't see it happening anytime soon. They're not gonna do anything to change what we have with the Switch. It's just no point in doing that, and it gives them more time to focus on first party titles for what we have. I mean, we still don't know anything about Metroid 4.
No,
I
I
mean,
know.
that
That
was
was
announced a
a
couple years
while ago.
back,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's been tough, man. When I saw that header come up and it said Metroid 4, I damn near pooped myself, because that was one of my favorite franchises for Nintendo.
Oh, really? Okay.
And to hear Metroid Prime 4 being discussed, it's like, I mean, that was one of my, I would say one of my favorite games for the Switch last year was Metroid Dread. I loved that game. I would play it over again because it was so challenging, and it just reminded me of the side-scrolling chaos that is Metroid, and I had such a blast playing it. So to see Samus come back and do something crazy again, I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
But
All
when that'll
right.
happen, who knows?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. We'll see. Um, all
Right.
right, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. This is actually, I think,
Yeah,
probably the longest podcast episode we've ever done. And you know what? I'm okay with it because
I am perfectly okay
it's
as well.
actually super awesome because I'm having conversation with you. Like
Yeah, we
it's
get to
so good.
finally rekindle our friendship,
Yeah, man.
after a little bit of time away. It's nice to come back and chat with you
All
again.
right. But without further ado, let's wrap it up.
All right.
All right, we're back. So let's talk about you, Nacho.
Oh boy.
What's coming
Yeah.
up? What's coming up with you, buddy? Tell me a little
Man.
bit about you.
Well, I mean, like I was saying earlier in the episode, it's been a little while since I've done any content on here on Twitch and other platforms. I've kind of been going a little off the kind of out of the main public eye. I've just kind of been kind of
Mm.
reconnecting with the real world, touching grass and all that stuff that they tell us to do. So, I've taken the last month off, and I do plan on coming back actually very soon. I'm working on something that I don't really have. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Don't spoil
it's,
anything.
it's one of those things where it's like I'm working on a really exciting project. I'm just not to the point where I want to fully announce it, but I will say it is a show that I'm working on, and I hope to bring it to fruition in the near future. But
Oh,
you guys will definitely be one of the first people to know as soon as I get
well,
to it. But I
now
will be
now
coming
you've
back to Twitch.
enticed me. I'm
I,
excited.
that's it's. I give you the little breadcrumbs, man. That's what it's about. It's about creating the excitement. But I mean, it's a passion project first and foremost. It's not something that I honestly don't care about the if it goes super viral overnight. It's a project that I've really thought about, and it's one of the few projects that I think I've gotten like butterflies thinking about, and they've gotten that
Gotcha.
excitement. So to be able to kind of rekindle that excitement in content creation and find something that is not only a passion of mine, but it is something that I think is will have a lot of benefit to a lot of people is something that I'm looking really forward to. And so that's my main focus. But I will be coming back to Twitch. We're going to be doing some things. I actually just picked up Evil Dead the game. I'm gonna be doing some
Nice.
gonna be doing some content for that.
Very
Uh,
nice.
yeah, I'm gonna be expanding our content to other platforms as well. I'm gonna be working on more TikTok stuff, YouTube, all
Yeah,
that
I
good
was
stuff.
gonna ask where can people find you or follow you?
Yeah, man, I'm everywhere, dude. It's
So
I will
I have
say,
your oh no, I don't actually. Sorry. I thought I had it
well,
up. There we go. I have your
I've made it
Twitter up.
I've made it very easy for people to find me. You look up NachoPanda on any platform: Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Uh, I was gonna say Bumble, but I'm not on those things. Honestly, if you look me up, Nacho Panda, you'll find me. My main focus is Twitch, and I'm very active on Twitter. I like to talk about things. I post random things that are funny, that I think are funny. Don't really care if people don't think it's funny, but I'm working on.
You have
I'm
YouTube
basically
too.
I do have a YouTube, and it's very fun. I have a lot of cool videos that have they're kind of old at this point, but
Yeah, it's
it's fun
okay.
to go back and rewatch them.
Yeah.
And I hope to be now that things are slowly but surely reopening, and we're starting to see an idea of normal life. I'm gonna be trying to make some more fun stuff. But yeah, honestly, you look up Nacho Panda, you'll find me, my a beautiful face. But
Nice.
primary is Twitch, and yeah, I'm gonna be playing a lot of video games, and more or less
I'm looking
it's gonna
forward
be.
to it. I always hop in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you, man, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
good to be here. And I just want to say thank you again
Yeah,
for
yeah.
inviting me to be a
Anytime.
guest on this
I
show, man.
appreciate you accepting and saying, yeah, I'll come.
Heck yeah. Any chance
Uh,
to chat with you, dude?
yeah, man. As for myself, I don't have the actual pages up, but I have a YouTube channel myself. Just do a search for KirrokCraft, one word. I'm also on Twitch, and I stream 4 times a week. And then, of course, I have a Twitter as well. All of them you can find me just by looking at KirrokCraft or looking up KirrokCraft. Upcoming soon, though, first 2 weekends in July, sorry, June, not July, I will be out. I'll be up north fishing. It'll be a fishing trip up in the cottage. It'll be awesome. I cannot wait. That's what's coming up for me, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, as far as Bottle Rocket Gaming goes, Bottle Rocket Gaming is basically a community of gamers, people who share gaming, love gaming, want to know other people, and interact with other people who love and share the same things. You can actually find Bottle Rocket on there's our website, which is bottlerocketgaming.com, the one I have up on screen right now. There's also the Discord. If you go to our website, there's a live link there. You can click it and get invited to the Discord. Even when you're watching this, you guys are on Twitch right now watching this live, but 2 days from now, I will be archiving it and posting it up on YouTube, and there are links in the description. You can click them to go to the Discord or our Twitch channel. But yeah, we record the entire episode that we're talking or doing, and then we post it up there on the YouTube. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with this episode. Has gone super well.
Yeah.
And I want to say again, thank you very much. And I hope you had a great time, because I had a great time, dude.
It was a blast, man. I appreciate the invite, and yeah, man, it was good to chat and talk shop? Or
yeah, talk shop. Yeah,
talk shop. Yeah.
Okay.
I do it. Yeah. Man.
Night, guys.
So much.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
Ah, shit.